10 wild and hilarious facts about Ace Frehley, the Spaceman of KISS. He's the man who put the space in Space Ace, the guitar legend who makes sparks literally fly on stage, and sometimes off stage too. From insane tour stories to near-death experiences, this is the untamed, hilarious, and unbelievable life of Ace Frehley, the original Spaceman of KISS. 1. The Bronx kid who became a space god. Before he was blasting off into stardom, Ace Frehley was just a mischievous kid from the Bronx. His nickname back then? Crazy Ace. He got kicked out of multiple schools, joined street gangs, and spent most of his teenage years getting into trouble, until he picked up a guitar at age 13. That guitar ended up being his ticket from the Bronx to the stars. 2. He showed up to his KISS audition wearing one red sneaker and one orange. When KISS was holding auditions in 1973, Ace showed up looking like he'd fallen out of a Crayola box, one red sneaker, one orange, jeans covered in holes, and a guitar slung over his shoulder. Everyone else in the room was trying to act cool. Ace just plugged in and ripped it. Gene Simmons later said, "He looked like a bum, but the second he started playing, we knew we had our guy." 3. The Spaceman was born by accident. Ace designed his own makeup, silver lightning bolts and futuristic eyes, because he thought it looked alien. But here's the funny part. In early KISS photo shoots, the makeup kept melting off under the lights, so Ace's spaceman look was partly shaped by literal sweat and smudges. He once joked, "I didn't invent my character. It just kind of dripped into place." 4. He electrocuted himself on stage and wrote a song about it. During a 1976 concert in Lakeland, Florida, Ace touched an ungrounded metal railing on stage and got literally electrocuted. He collapsed mid-show, his arm went numb, and he almost passed out. But instead of quitting the tour, he wrote "Shock Me" about the experience and sang it himself. It became one of KISS's all-time classics. Only Ace could turn near death into a hit single. 5. His guitar used to catch fire on purpose. Ace didn't just play guitar, he made it explode. He famously rigged his Gibson Les Paul to shoot smoke and fireworks during his solos. But in true Ace fashion, things didn't always go as planned. One night in the 70s, his pyrotechnic guitar malfunctioned and actually caught fire. He just kept playing while roadies scrambled to put it out. Ace later said, "I figured if I was gonna die, it might as well be on stage doing a solo." 6. The time he drove a cart into a swimming pool. In the late 70s, Ace threw a party at his house that turned into full chaos. After a few too many drinks, he decided it would be funny to see if his car could make it across the backyard. It couldn't. He drove straight into his swimming pool, and when everyone panicked, Ace just laughed and said, "Guess I'm taking a dive." The car was totaled, but the legend was born. 7. His 1978 solo album outsold everyone else's. When KISS released solo albums in 1978, nobody expected Ace's to be the hit. But his version of New York Groove went top 20, and his album outsold all three of the others, Gene's, Paul's, and Peter's. Paul Stanley even admitted, "We thought Ace's record would be the worst. Turns out it was the best." 8. He once got lost on his way to a show and ended up at a Burger King. In 1975, KISS was scheduled to play in Connecticut. Ace, who was supposed to drive separately, got hopelessly lost. Instead of asking for directions, he pulled into a Burger King and just stayed there eating fries. Meanwhile, the band's crew was freaking out. They thought Ace had been kidnapped. He finally showed up an hour late and said, "Relax, I just needed a Whopper." 9. His drunken TV interview became legendary. In 1979, KISS appeared on The Tomorrow Show with Tom Snyder, and Ace showed up absolutely wasted. While Gene and Paul tried to stay serious, Ace kept cracking jokes, laughing uncontrollably, and calling Gene Mr. Personality. Fans loved it. Gene didn't. That interview became infamous and still gets millions of views online today. 10. The man, the myth, the space legend. Ace left KISS in 1982, came back in 1996, and has had an on-again, off-again relationship with the band ever since. But through it all, he stayed authentic, a Bronx kid who somehow ended up a guitar-playing astronaut. He once said, "I never wanted to be normal. Normal's boring." And that's the beauty of Ace Frehley. Unpredictable, funny, and 100% rock and roll. From shocking himself on stage to launching KISS into orbit, Ace Frehley's story proves that sometimes the craziest people make the best rock stars.